اللهم
الرحيم.
صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا معينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وجل فرجهم.
اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك وأنت مسدد للصواب بمنك، فأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعوقبين في موضع النقال والنقمة، وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك، فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، وعجب يا رحيم دعوتي، وأغل يا غفور أثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وأثرة قد أغلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وعجل. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها، على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه، ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه، ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاحش في الخلق أمره، وحمده الظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده، الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا وجودا وكرما. إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير، مع حاجة بي إليه عظيمة، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إنا عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وسفحك عن ظلمي، وسترك على قبيح عملي، وحلمك عن كثير جرمي، عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي. أتمعني في أن أسألك مولا أستوجبه منك الذي رزقتني من رحمتك وأريتني من قدرتك وعرفتني من إجابتك فسرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستأنسا لا خائفا ولا وجلا مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك فإن أبت عني أتبت بجهلي عليك ولعل الذي أبت عني هو خير لي لعلمك بأوغبة الأمور فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك وعلي يا رب إنك تدعوني فأبلغ عنك وتتحبب إلي فأتبقظ إليك وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك كأن لي التتبل عليك فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إلي والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك إنك جواد كريم الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الأسباح ديان الدين رب العالمين الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه والحمد لله على عفه بعد قدرته والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الأسباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعاضله ولا شبيه يشاكل ولا ظهير يعاضد قهرا بعزته العزة وتواضع لعظمته العظمى فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أناديه ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصي ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي فكم من موحبة حنيئة غدا أعطاني وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني وبحجة مونقة قد أراني فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكره مسبحا الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يقلق بابه ولا يرد سائل ولا يخيب عامله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويذع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبار مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وأمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنعم وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك وبليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبي العظيم. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على سبتي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادى المهدي وجدك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم صل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك. استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله. مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له. أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك، حتى لو يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرقب إليك وفي دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله، وتذل بها النفاق وأهله، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والعودة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شأفنا، واشأب به سدعنا، وارزق به فتقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، وأعزز به ذلتنا، فاقن به آئلنا، واقض به عن مغرمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وسد به خلتنا، ويسر به يسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا، وفك به أسرنا، وأنجه به طلبتنا، وأنجز به مواعيدنا، واستجب به دعوتنا، وأعتنا به سؤلنا، وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة أعمالنا، وأعتنا به فوق رغبتنا. يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين، اشف به صدورنا، فاذهب به غيظ قلوبنا، واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك. إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. انصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا، إله الحق. آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله، وغيبة ولينا، وكثرة عدونا، وقلة عددنا، وشدة الفتن بنا، وتظاهر الزمان علينا. وصل على محمد وآله، وإنا على ذلك بفتح منك تؤجل، وبذر تكشف، ونصر تعز، وسلطان حق تظهر، ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
السلام عليكم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء وبقوتك التي قهرت بها كل شيء وخزالها كل شيء وزللها كل شيء وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء وبنور وجهك الذي أضاء له كل شيء. يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا قدوس يا نور يا قدوس يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحت كل إسام. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النكام. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء. اللهم اغفر لكل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكرك وأستشفع بك إلى نفسك وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من قربك وأن توزعني شكرك وأن تلحمني ذكرك. اللهم إني أسألك سؤال خاضع متذلل خاشع أن تسامحني وترحمني وتجعلني بك اسمك راضيا قانعا وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا. اللهم وأسألك سؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته وأزم فيما عندك رغبته. اللهم عزم سلطانك وعلى مكانك وخفي مكروك وزهر أمرك وغلب قهرك وجرت قدرتك ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافرا ولا لقبائه ساترا ولا لشيء من عملي الكبيه بالحسن مبدلا غيرك. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك ظلمت نفسي ظلمت نفسي ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجحلي وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي. اللهم مولاي كم من قبيح سترته وكم من فاضح من البلاء أكلته وكم من إيثار وكيته وكم من مكروه دفعته وكم من ثناء جميل لست أهلا له نشرته. اللهم عظم بلائي وأفرت بي سوء خالي وكسرت بي أعمالي وكدت بي أغلالي وحبسني عن نفعي بعد أملي وخدتني الدنيا بغرورها ونفسي بجنايتها ومثالي يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك أن لا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي ولا تفزحني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري ولا تعاجلني بالعقوبة على ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكسرة شهواتي وغفلتي. وكن اللهم بعزتك في كل الأحوال رؤوفا وعلي في جميع الأمور أتوفا. إلهي وربي من لي غيره أسأله كشف ضري والنظر في أمري. إلهي ومولاي أجريت علي حكما اتبعت فيه هوى نفسي ولم أحترس فيه من تزيين عدوي فغرني بما أهوى وأسأله على ذلك القضاء فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعض حدودك وخالفت بعض أوامرك فلك الحمد علي في جميع ذلك ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي فيه قضاؤك وألزمني حكمك وبلاؤك. وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي معتذرا نادما منكسرا مستقيلا مستغفرا منيبا مكرا مذعنا معترفا لا أجد مفرا مما كان مني ولا مفزعا أتوجه إليه في أمري غير قبولك عذري وإدخالك إياي في سعة من رحمتك. اللهم فاقبل عذري وارحم شدة زري وفكني من شد وصاكي. يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني، يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني، ورقة جلدي ودقة عزمي، يا من بدأ خلقي وذكري وتربيتي وبري وتغذيتي، أبني لابتداء كرمك وصالح برك بي، يا إلهي وسيدي وربي، أتراك معذبي بنارك بعد توحيدك، وبعد ما انتوى إليه قلبي من معرفتك، ولهجا به لساني من ذكرك، وتكده زميري من حبك، وبعد صدق ترافي ودعائي خاضعا لربوبيتك، هيهات أنت أكرم من أن تزيئ من ربيته، أو تبعد من أدنيته، أو تشرد من آويته، أو تسلم إلى البلاء من كفيته ورحمته، وليت شعري يا سيدي وإلهي ومولاي، أتسلط النار على وجوه خرت لعظمتك الساجدة، وعلى ألسن نطقت بتوحيدك الصادقة، وبشكرك مادحا، وعلى قلوب اعترفت بإلهيتك محققة، وعلى زمار حوت من العلم بك حتى صارت خاشعة، وعلى جوارح سأت إلى أوطان تأبدك طائعة، وأشارت باستغفارك مذعنة، ما هكذا الظن بك ولا أخبرنا بفضلك أنت، يا كريم يا رب، يا كريم يا رب، يا كريم يا رب، وأنت تعلم ضعفي أن قليل من بلاء الدنيا وعقوباتها، وما يجري فيها من المكاره على أهلها، على أن ذلك بلاء ومكروه قليل مكسور، يسير بقاء كثير مدته، وكيف احتمالي لبلاء الآخرة وجليل وقوع المكاره فيها، وهو بلاء تطول مدته ويدوم مقامه ولا يخفف عن أهله، لأنه لا يكون إلا عن غضبك وانتقامك وسخطك، وهذا ما لا تقوم له السماوات والأرض، يا سيدي فكيف بي وأنا عبدك الضعيف الظليم الحكير المسكين المستكين، يا إلهي وربي وسيدي ومولاي، لأي الأمور إليك أشكو ولما منها أزج وأبكي، لأليم العذاب وشدته أم لطول البلاء ومدته، فلئن سيرتني للعقوبات مع أعدائك وجمعت بيني وبين أهل بلائك وفرقت بيني وبين أحبائك وأوليائك، فحبني يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي وربي، صبرت على عذابك فكيف أصبر على فراقك، وحبني صبرت على حر نارك فكيف أصبر عن النظر إلى كرامتك، أم كيف أسكن في النار ورجائي أفوق، فبعزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم صادقا، لئن تركتني ناتك لأزجن إليك بين أهلها زجيج العاملين، ولا أصرخن إليك صراخ المستصرخين ولا أبكين عليك بكاء الفاقدين ولا أنادينك أين كنت يا ولي المؤمنين يا غاية آمال العارفين يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا حبيب قلوب الصادقين ويا إله العالمين أفتراك سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم سجن فيها بمخالفته وذاك طعم عذابها بمعصيته وحبس بين أتباكها بجرمه وجريرته وهو يزج إليك زجيج معمل رحمتك ويناديك بلسان أهل توحيدك وتوسلوا إليك بربوبيتك يا مولاي فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمه أم كيف تؤلمه النار وهو يأمل فضلك ورحمتك أم كيف يهلكه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوته وترى مكانه أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفا أم كيف يتكلكل بين أتباكها وأنت تعلم صدقا أم كيف تزجره زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا ربا أم كيف يرجو فضلك في إتكه منها فتتركه فيها هيهات ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك ولا مشبه لما عملت به الموحدين من برك وإحسانك فباليقين أكت أولى لما حكمت به من تعذيب جاحديك وكزيت به من إخلاد معانديك لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما وما كان لأحد فيها مكرا ولا مقاما لكنك تقدست أسماؤك أقسمت أن تملأها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين وأن تخلد فيها المعارضين وأنت جل ثناؤك كنت مبتدئا وتطولت بالإنعام متكرما أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون إلهي وسيدي فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالكزية التي حتمتها وحكمتها وغلبت من عليه أجريتها أن تهب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته وكل ذنب أذنبته وكل قبيح أسررته وكل جهل أملته كتمته أو أعلنته أخفيته أو أزهرته وكل سيئة أمرت بإثباتها الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جوارحي وكنت أنت الركيب علي من ورائهم والشاهد لما خفي عنهم وبرحمتك أخفيت وبفضلك سترت وأن توفر حظي من كل خير أنزلت أو إحسان فزلت أو بر نشرت أو رزق بسطت أو ذنب تغفر أو خطأ تستره. يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب. يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك ركي، يا من بيده ناصيتي، يا أليما بزري ومسكنتي، يا خيرا بفقري وفاقتي. يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب. أسألك بحقك وقدسك وعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي في الليل والنهار بذكرك مأمورا، وبخدمتك موصولا، وأعمالي عندك مقبولا، حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها بردا واحدا، وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا. يا سيدي يا من عليه مؤولي، يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي. يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب. قوي على خدمتك جوارحي، واجدد على العزيمة جوانه، وهب لي الجد في خشيتك والدوام في اتصال بخدمتك، حتى أسرح إليك في ميادين السابقين، وأسرع إليك في البارزين، وأشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين، وأدنو منك دنو المخلصين، وخافك مخافة الموقنين، واجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين. اللهم ومن أرادني بالسوء فأرده، ومن قادني فكده، واجعلني من أحسن عبيدك نسيبا عندك، وأقربهم منزلة وخسهم زلفة لديك، فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك. وجود لي بجودك، وعطف علي بمجدك، واحفظني برحمتك، واجعل لساني بذكرك لحجا، وقلبي بحبك متيما، ومن علي بحسن إجابتك، وكلني أسرتي، واغفر زلتي، فإنك كزيت على عبادك بعبادتك، وأمرتهم بدعائك، وزمنت لهم الإجابة. فإليك يا ربي نسبت وجهي، وإليك يا ربي مددت يدي، فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي، وبلغني مناي، ولا تعتأ من فضلك رجائي، واكفني شر الجن والإنس من أعدائي. يا سريع الرضا، يا سريع الرضا، يا سريع الرضا، اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء، فإنك فعال لما تشاء. يا من اسمه دواء، وذكره شفاء، وطاعته غنى. ارحم من رأس ماله الرجاء، وصلاحه البكاء. يا سابغ النعم، يا دافع النكم يا نور المستوحشين في الظلم يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بما أنت أهله وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا اللهم صل على محمد.
Jazakallah, Brother Daniel. May Allah increase your tawfiqat and accept all your ibadat in this beautiful month of Ramadan. Please, for all mu'mineen, on behalf of Women Center, we would like to request everybody to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum. Now, I would like to request Shaykh Amin Rastani to come and give us the most important information about Ahkaam of Zakat al Fitra, and would like to thank him for enlightening us with all this important information. Shaykh, Jazakallah khair. Bismillah.
Thank you, brother. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. I just want to make sure that people have my voice, yes?
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, Shaykh.
Okay.
Looking
All right,
good
good.
as well. Picture.
Okay.
Good
Okay.
picture.
All right, alhamdulillah. Okay, that's good. Zoom makes you look better than you really do. So that's good, alhamdulillah. All right, so we will begin, inshallah. This was a workshop, if you all remember, brothers and sisters who are watching our last workshop that I had with you at least. And I do know that Mulana Beg will have a workshop also coming up, I think Saturday night as well. So we still have some workshops left for you. And also the Kahoot challenges and all that good stuff that you've seen the emails for. So I know these next few days are pretty packed. And but I had asked, I had said last in my last workshop about a week, 10 days ago or so that, I want to also have a little workshop on some of the Ahkaam of Zakat al Fitra. Every year, of course, we do this, but once again, because we're in quarantine, we have to do it online. So I had to squeeze myself in. I'm sorry, I do know everyone has a lot going on these nights, because lots of people do have questions. Questions come up in regards to this, and I felt it would be good to, help out as much as we can in this regard. So I thank the brothers and sisters in charge as well for making this happen and making it a possibility. All right, so I have a few masalas here that I want to go through. Let me see, where did I put that? This as well, let me put this here. The first and foremost, we're gonna start with the basics and then go through and see what questions come up. Oh, by the way, if anyone has questions, please do ask your questions right here in the chat box. I'll see them, inshallah, and then we'll take them if I know the answer, of course. So how much is Zakat al Fitra and who has to pay it? We have this first mas'ala. All of you know, it says that in order to fulfill the duty of Zakat al Fitra, one must provide 3 kilograms of food or pay the value of it in money to those qualified to receive it. And we'll talk about who is qualified to receive that as well later. We'll get to that. It says this duty is carried out by the breadwinner in each family for him or herself, and anyone else he or she provides for. Right. So what matters here is that you are the breadwinner. Yes, you can be a woman even. If you're the breadwinner and you have dependents, you have it's called ayal in Arabic. You have ayal, then yes, Zakat al Fitra will be wajib on you. Zakat al Fitra is not wajib on those who they themselves are faqir though. So if there is anyone out there who the definition of faqir applies to them, yes, they won't have to pay Zakat al Fitra, although it's either mustahab or ihtiyat mustahab to do it. Yeah. Even if they have their own dependents, there are people who are their dependents. Still, it's not going to be wajib on them if they're faqir. So we have to get to the definition of faqir, inshallah, in the 5th or 6th slide, or 7th or 8th slide that I have here that I'll be reading to you. People are saying salam, wa alaikum assalam to all of you who are joining us. And of course, as always, I have to say that I miss everybody, inshallah. All right. So we all know that. Now someone might ask, okay, we know it's 3 kilograms of food. Yes. The question is this though, what is the dollar value of that? Well, first and foremost, originally it has to be the food, but yes, the Maraja have said that it is also okay to pay the monetary value of it. And this is important because in fidya, it's a little different. You're not allowed to give the money. You have to give the food itself for fidya. But that's a different mas'ala. And if you give the money, you have to make sure that that person buys food with it. Yeah. And so when we say food, what is meant by food here is, that which it's any type of food that is used usually in the place that you live in. So for example, you'll have those 4 main items, right? Rice and wheat and wheat and barley and dates and raisins. These are the ghallat al-arba'a, it's called. These are the 4 things that we have that is in Islam. Usually those are like the standard. But if you look at the books of Maraja, they will say some of them, like I've seen this with Ayatollah Sistani, for example. He says if the food though, one of these 4 is not one of the main things people eat in your region, I think he says ihtiyat wajib, don't give it from that. So for example, like I'm not sure if dates would count in where we are. It's not one of the main foods. And usually even in Iran or other places, they'll just go by the price of wheat or rice, because rice is usually eaten right in our countries. I mean, you guys can't say you don't because you have biryani, right? I think 4 or 5 days out of the week you will be having biryani. So your rice is a staple in your diets. All right. So now for the Iranians as well, like rice. And so for us here, even we can go by rice as well. We can go by wheat. Usually they'll go by one of these 2. So now someone will ask, well, what is the dollar amount? Spare us of all this technical explanation that you're giving us. Just give me a dollar amount. Well, there's a reason why we go through this very quickly. We talk about how this is the money, this is the price of wheat or rice, so that you know what you're giving. Yes, you have to have, from my understanding, you have to have the intention of, okay, I'm giving the money for 3 kilograms of rice. I'm giving the money of 3 kilograms of wheat. So for example, you can't give a mix of both. You can't be like, I want something in between. I'm going to give the money for, half of 1.5 kilograms of rice and 1.5 kilograms of wheat. So let's put these together. That's going to give us like $7. So I'm going to give $7. No. It has to be the price of 3 kilograms of one good. Yes, that's what's important and what counts. So having said that, let's move to the dollar amount. Wa alaikum assalam, everyone who's saying salam. And thanks for joining. All right, so joining our virtual workshop that we would have been doing in Moment, but we can't. All right, so the price, when you go on Imam website, the Imam website, which is what they say is affiliated with Ayatollah Sistani. I haven't looked into it or anything, but I'm just saying, when you go there, what you find is that they are saying that it is $10 per person. Yes, and where do you get this $10 per person from? In other words, $10 for 3 kilograms of, for example, rice. Where are you getting this number from? They will tell you we are getting it from. How is the monetary value calculated? They will tell you we are getting it from consumer price indexes for flour and consumer price indexes for rice. Now, when I actually went on these websites and looked at the prices that were given for each pound, and each pound equaling 453.6 grams, right? So it's almost half a kilogram. Every pound is almost half a kilogram. So it's like 6.2 or something, if I'm not mistaken. Every 3 kilograms is 6.2 pounds or something, if I'm not mistaken. I calculated this before. Let me just pull it up real quick. So 453.6 times, yeah, per pound. So we're gonna say 3 kilograms is 3,000. 3 kilograms is 3,000 grams, right? So 3,000 grams divided by 453.6 equals 6.6, excuse me, 6.61 or 6.62 pounds. So 1 sa', which equals 3 kilograms, something around that neighborhood, equals 6.61375661375661 kilograms, pounds, excuse me. Okay, 6.62, let's just say, just to round it up. If you multiply that by, yes, it says here every pound is 0.44 cents or $0.44, meaning 45, around 45 cents. If you multiply 45 cents times 6.62, you get something in the neighborhood of like $3. So where did they get this $10 from? When you look at the website says, since the CPI values are averages and true costs may vary in range in different parts of the country, please note we have applied a precautionary buffer ihtiyat to the value. So I guess that's where they're getting the $10 from. But yeah, this CPI index, this consumer price index that they're sharing here, yeah, based on those numbers, it should be less than 10, but that's what we'll go with. Okay, brothers and sisters, anyone who wants to go for less than that, please email adam@moment.org. We'll talk about it more. But yeah, that's the number that everyone is talking about right now. Okay. Now, that's the dollar amount that, everyone's saying. And since everyone says it, we'll say it too. Yeah? All right, that's that. Oh, and I see that our admin has put the link to the Imam website there. Once again, you don't, you follow, if you follow Imam, it's because that brings you yaqeen, that brings you certainty, for example. It's every person and their own calculations and their own certainty, but it's always good to be on the safe side for these things. In Farsi, we say it's not going to go a far way, This money that you give, okay, even if it's a little bit more than what you might have to, still it's going to the faqir who needs it, the mu'min faqir, and you're making them happy, so why not? Yes? Oh, so right here, the brother asks, Salam Maulana, is there an issue if we give Zakat al Fitra more than we estimated? No, that's fine. You can go more for ihtiyat and so on, that's fine. As I said, just having your intention that, yeah, this is 3 kilograms of rice, okay? This is for 3 kilograms of rice, not 1.5 and 1.5. Like, that's a problem, because these marajid, they've explicitly said you can't say 1.5, 1.5. Let's mix them together. So this happened actually in Iran when I was back in the day when we were there. Someone had made this mistake. I don't know for how many years, maybe. Like, they had felt that if they pay the price of flour or wheat, that it will be too little, and if they pay the amount for rice, it'll be too much, because in Iran it's like the price for rice is maybe 10 times that of wheat. And so what happened is this person to have something in between. They had the intention of, okay, I'll give 1.5 flour, 1.5 rice, and that's where the issue comes up. The Maraja have explicitly said, no, you have to give the price for 3 kilograms of this or 3 kilograms of that. You want to add more to it as sadaqah, that's fine. Okay. All right. Wa alaikum assalam, brother Malek. He says he misses us. We miss you too, brother. We miss you too. Hope the business is going well, inshallah. All right. So going back to our slides here, we give it to the faqir. Let me see. Another question that comes up is, okay, so it is wajib on the breadwinner, the one who others are dependent on. It is wajib on them to take out the zakat for their dependents. And we all know, brothers and sisters, we all know that the Zakat al Fitra is very, very important, to the extent that if someone purposely doesn't take care of this wajib of Allah, that their fast, if I remember correctly, the hadith says that their fast will not be accepted. And not only that, there's a chance. Now, these are things that are these are metaphysical matters here that we're talking about. There's a chance that their life might end in that coming year. This is how important it is. So now people, for them, it's important that is this wajib being taken care of? And then there will be some who might be religious, but their caretakers, their breadwinners are negligent, are careless about this wajib of Allah. All right? And so what happens is they will get worried. They'll get worried. They will say, "Oh my God, there's hadiths about how you might get in trouble as a result of not giving zakat al fitra. So what do I do now?" And the answer that the Maraja have given, is that no. This is a taklif on breadwinners. And so it's not a taklif on you. Yes, this is something very, very important to understand. Just because a taklif is on others doesn't mean it will transfer to us if some others don't take care of it. Yes, if I have something to do with that ruling, right? Every ruling is different, of course, but all in all, in this ruling and other rulings that I can think of right now off the top of my mind, certain things are a taklif of certain individuals, and if those individuals don't live up to it, it's not going to become a taklif on others. So, for example, when you look at Ayatollah Sistani's book of Fatawa, his Islamic laws book, he will say this explicitly. For example, in Ahkaam al he says, if you're supposed to turn the mayyit during ihtidar, turn them towards the qibla. But if there is no one there to turn you towards the qibla, if you're dying, it's not wajib on you yourself to do it. He says that. I can show you. So it's interesting. So people would think that, okay, maybe if no one else is there, I should turn myself. No, this is a taklif for others, he says. Here also, it's a taklif on others. And so as a result, since it's a taklif on them, you don't have a taklif, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, some people say, I'll pay it instead. If you want to, that's good, but it's not going to count as zakat al fitra. It will be sadaqah, really, because it's not wajib at the end of the day. Zakat al fitra is something wajib on certain people. All right. So now we have moving on now. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, there's one more thing actually. Two more things I want to talk about regarding this first hukum and masala that we went through. Number one is that some people ask, well, we're having a baby. Do I have to pay zakat al fitra on the baby? Answer is, if the baby is now in your arms, inshallah, yes. If not, no. Just because the mother is pregnant with a child does not mean that that child, you have to take out fitra for that child as well. Don't worry, you will have many more years to take, inshallah, Allah gives your child health. You will have many more years to give fitra for them, and there's a lot of other expenses that will come with it as well. Yes, so brother is asking, I'm sorry Maulana, running late, how much is fitra this year per person? Look, as I said in the beginning, before you came, we're just going to go with the $10 that they're saying per person. Because although I personally, like when you look it up, the numbers might be a little different, but to be on the safe side, this is what the Imam organization is saying, that we've come to $10 for 3 kilograms of rice or 3 kilograms of flour and wheat. Okay. Yes, they're asking about guests. We'll get to guests. This whole workshop is set up so that we reach the ahkam of guest. Okay, so I'm just telling you that right now. So don't worry, we won't be skipping that. Okay, we'll get to it. Someone says, if someone is a breadwinner but their income is barely enough to cover for their family, is it wajib on them? If they fall under the category of faqir that we'll get to later, as I said, they are the breadwinner, but since they are faqir, they won't have to pay. But we'll have to see what the definition of faqir is. Okay, so stay tuned until we get there, inshallah. Okay, now that's one about the baby. The other one that I wanted to say was, when do we take out this Zakat al Fitra? Well, what's for sure is that all Marajat will agree from what I've seen so far, or at least the Ayatollah Sistani, Ayatollah Khamenei, will say that the Fitra comes out on the night of Eid, right? So once Adhan al-Maghrib happens, that is the time to take out Zakat al Fitra. But can I take it before that? Ayatollah Sistani, he says, yes, you can take it out actually any time of Ramadan. Before Ramadan is going to be a problem. But during Ramadan, even before the night of Eid, you can take it out. From what I've looked with Ayatollah Khamenei, all he addresses in his book is that you can take it out on the eve, or excuse me, the night of Eid. Can I take it before? He has not addressed it. Imam Khomeini, though, he says, I think ihtiyat wajib, don't take it out before the night of Eid. And I think that would also apply to Khamenei. So, ihtiyat wajib, as you all probably know, you can follow another marja on that, like Ayatollah Sistani. That's from my understanding, from what I've seen so far, unless things have changed. But yeah, when I checked last, this is what I saw. All right. But anyway, usually at the end of the day, people take it out on the night of Eid anyway. And by the way, this year for this what's it called, for Eid, we know for sure, like 99.9999% that it's going to be on Sunday, right? It's not going to be any other time, right? We had it hard for us in the beginning of Ramadan, and that's something I'm going to be talking to some people about, because next year we're going to have the same situation. When I look at the diagrams and calculations and stuff, next year is going to be the same. We're going to have the same trouble again. So we're going to have to start figuring things out, because there is, whether we like it or not, a difference of opinion on sighting of the moon with naked eye versus optical aid, right? We're going to have to figure it out for next year as well. But alhamdulillah, at least for Eid, we're not going to have a problem like we did in the beginning of the month, right? And also, I have to say this, if we had it hard in the beginning of the month, the Middle East had it easy. But now that we're having it easy for Eid, they're having it hard. And they're going to be going through what we went through for the beginning of Ramadan. They're going to be going through it for Eid time. So anyway, so this will be Saturday night. People can take out their Zakat al Fitra to be on the safe side. Okay, so that's regarding that. Let's move on. Oh, let me see if there's any questions. Number 2, Fitra that's given, does it have to be given in the US, or if we reside here, can we send it back home? Well, we'll get to that as well as we go on in the presentation. I'm still learning a lot about Islam, so I don't know what Zakat al Fitr is. Okay, so if you Google it, you'll find there'll be some explanations on it, but the details of it, if you have any questions, just email alim@moment.org to see if so. Zakat al Fitr in a nutshell is, once the month of Ramadan ends, there is a charity, a monetary due that people have to pay. It's not too crazy, but it's there, and it adds up. It adds up, because everyone who's fasting, everyone who is Muslim, and even if those who weren't fasting because of whatever reason, they were sick or whatever, still Zakat al Fitr will be wajib on them. So that little bit everyone pitches in does a lot, really. It's a big deal, actually. And it's very, very important in our faith. So Inshallah, that's in a nutshell, but the details of it we're covering right now. And also you can also ask your questions later as well. Maulana, my adult child is visiting with her children. One is baligh and the other two are not. Am I responsible to pay? Well, we'll get to the guest section in a second, and then we'll answer that as well. And should it be taken before Salat? Oh, thank you, Brother Jari, for bringing that up. Yeah, so the beginning time that you take out the Zakat al Fitra, if you want to be on the safe side, is after Maghrib of the night of Eid. But you have to have taken it out. If someone doesn't take it out, they have till Salat al Eid, based on obligatory precaution from what I remember once again. They have till Salat al Eid to take it out. And if they're not going to be praying Salat al Eid, then they have till Dhuhr time of Eid to take it out. Okay, thanks for bringing that up. سؤال إذا كان مكلف لم يخرج الزكاة لسنوات جهلا. Good question. Let me write it down, because I have this presentation in different places and stuff, so it's good that these come up as well. What if? All right. So sister is asking, what if someone has not paid the Zakat al Fitra for a long period of time, for many years? They didn't know about it. Well, since they didn't know, inshallah, it wasn't their fault that they didn't know. So Allah will forgive that, of course. Inshallah, inshallah. But yes, Ayatollah Sistani says, ihtiyat wajib. They still have to pay it, although the time passed. But he says, have the intention of ma fi dhimma. In other words, have the intention, I'm giving this, right? I'm giving this to fulfill whatever my obligation is right now. If it's ada, ada. If it's qada, qada. We don't know. Ayatollah Sistani has not apparently come to a conclusion if this is counted as ada or qada. So he says, just have the intention of ma fi dhimma. Oh Allah, I'm giving this, with the intention of whatever is on my shoulders of responsibility. Is it on time or is it late? Whatever it is, I'm giving it. So yes, he says that. Yes, alayka ihda'i. Okay, inshallah. Brother Akbar, is it possible to pay zakat through nominating a wakil? Yes, of course. Yes, of course, and we'll talk about that. So let's move on to the next one. We have the guests, and we have the guest we have to get to, and we have to talk about sending it outside of the city that I'm in. We have to get to these two. So if Brother Akbar, you're asking, make someone wakil to give it somewhere else, that might be a problem. We'll talk about it. But if I make somebody wakil to give it on my behalf in the city that I'm in, then that's fine. And that's what happens in our centers right now. When we give our money, when we put it in the donation, not the donation box, but the Zakat al Fitra box, and we've separated Sayyid from non-Sayyid, of course, right? What happens is you are actually giving it to them, so they give it on your behalf. So that is what you are making somebody wakil. But you have to, these maraji, they say you have to be sure that they're giving it to the faqir. Yes. Now I do know that our respected treasurer, he splits hairs when it comes to these things. So personally, I would trust him, right? I was thinking of some jokes to say, but I won't. He's a wonderful guy. All right. What if in the past you paid zakat fitra without making a specific intention that this is for 3 kilograms of rice or for wheat? For example, your intention was to pay fitra to be utilized the way it's meant to be. I personally think that's good enough. I mean, in the back of your head, you know that there's some food involved in all of this, right? This is the price of food. I think that should suffice, inshallah. Because right now I've noticed, for example, the Imam organization, right, that I was just talking about a minute ago. Let me pull it up again. When you go on the Zakat al Fitra link that they give you, for example, it just says the estimated recommended value of Zakat al Fitra for 2020 in the United States is $10 for each eligible person. The sum must be paid on the person's behalf as well as on behalf of all those who are his dependents. This would also include guests and so on who are staying overnight. We'll get to that, as I said. So they don't mention, oh, remember that this is for 3 kilograms or something. Everyone knows in the back of their heads that, okay, this is for that food amount that we have to pay. I was just making that point and saying it because there are some who will split it in their minds. They'll say 1.5 this, 1.5 that. I said that won't count. Yeah, or else Maraja, even in Iran, Qom, all those places right now, when they announce it, they don't make a big deal of, oh, hey, people have the intention of 3 kilograms of this or that. Haven't seen them make a big deal about it, so hopefully that's not a problem. All right. So do I have to pay Zakat al Fitra for guests who are staying with us the night before Eid? Drum roll, please. While the drum is rolling, let me answer this. Let's talk about this. The guests, this notorious question of the guests coming over. And so sometimes people will be hesitant to have somebody over. No, people are generous. They are okay with having people over. Sometimes people are hesitant to go to someone's place. Why? Because they feel like we don't want to put the burden of paying Zakat al Fitra for us 10 people. You know, some people have big families. For us 10 people on the shoulder of the host. They don't want to do that. So yeah, so this will happen. People will talk about this and ask this question. So now, let's talk about that. It says if they are considered your dependent while they are with you, you are also responsible for their zakatul fitrah, and they have no duty to pay it. If this is not the case, now this is important right now. This is the part that's important. If this is not the case, as in the case of a guest who is at your house for iftar on the night of Eid and won't be spending the night, yes, you are not responsible for their zakatul fitrah. So they put this in both of the maraja that we cover. They have said this, that you, if someone is coming over to your house for iftar, for a meal, they're not considered your dependents for a period of time. They're there just for a meal. No one sees that as being a dependent and you being like a caretaker of them, taking care of them and so on. So that's why they'll add this clause that wasn't there in the past. I'm going to be honest with you. In some of these Maraja's books before, you didn't have this. Now they've made it more specific. And really they've resolved this issue, I think, once and for all. That that guest who's coming over, they have to spend the night. They have to be there such that you are taking care of them. You are going to be providing for them everything they need for their stay with you. So our respected, was it brother or sister who asked that question above, my adult child is visiting with her children. One is baligh and the other 2 are not. Am I responsible to pay? If their visit they're going to be there for a few days and you're taking care of them based on what they're saying here, these maraja, yes, Zakat al Fitra would be on your shoulders. Okay? All right. Oh, what am I saying? This is it says Sayyid Jafari. I think this is Brother Hussein, uncle. So yeah, if that's what it is, then I would say yes. If they're staying with you for a few days, then yeah. All right. Sometimes I don't look at the names, I just read the question. I'm sorry. Okay, so now I just want to read this to you real quick if I can find it. What Ayatollah Sistani says about, I want to read off of his fatwa specifically. Where is it? There it is. He says in Mas'ala 2652 of Risalah Tawzi'ul Masail al-Jami', it's called. He says, if someone is your dependent, even for a temporary period of time, it is wajib on the host to give their zakat al-fitra. For example, he says, if a mihman, a guest who has entered before the ghurub, before sunset of Eid al-Fitr, and I forgot to mention that as well. When this guest, if they've been there, this is also important. If they're there before sunset of the night of Eid, if they enter upon you after sunset, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't count at all. So maybe you want to tell them to wait outside and then come in afterwards, you know. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding about that. Anyway, yeah, I was reading this. So it says, so for example, if your guest arrives before sunset of the day of Eid, before the sunset of Eid, and stays at your home after the sunset and all that, and the host is the one who provides them with everything they need to stay for their stay, of food and other things, a place to sleep and all that kind of stuff, and also takes care of their expenses, all of these things, then they're seen as your dependent. Yes. Even if it says here, even if that person who's staying over now doesn't necessarily eat at your house, but you are there to take care of them. And usually that's the case when you're spending a few days over at someone's house. Yeah. You can't be like, oh, we went out to the restaurant to eat and we didn't put a burden on them, so they're not taking care of us. No. All in all, they are seen as your host now, in the sense that they're taking care of all your needs for the time that you're going to be here. Then he says that counts. That's what counts. Okay, so I hope that's clear. All right, so I hope that answers the question of dependent. A guest. Very good question, Zishan, if that's you who I think you are. It says, Sheikh, what if there is a non-Muslim that's staying overnight on the eve of Eid? Yes, that is a very good question. These maraji', what I've seen so far, they have not stipulated that the people that are your dependent, they have to be necessarily Muslim or not. Yeah, they have not stipulated that at all. All they've said is it is wajib when the conditions are met for a person to pay the Zakat al Fitra for themselves and for the ones who are their dependents. Finished. I don't remember anywhere where it says that they have to be Muslim or not. Yes, to the extent that it says even if the person is non-Muslim and he has dependents, it's still wajib on him. Now he's not going to do it, but it's still wajib on him. So if he becomes Muslim later, for example, it says that here, it says, well, I don't want to confuse you. Don't worry about that part because we don't have this issue too much anyway. I don't want to confuse anybody, so we'll leave that. Yeah, so what's for sure is, from my understanding, they have not made it a condition that only for your Muslim dependents. All right, so here dependent will encompass even a non-Muslim who is staying over for a week, for example, at your place, and you're going to be taken care of. That's how I see it, brothers and sisters, based on the text that we have here. Does the guest take out Zakat al Fitra too? I'm going to write that down. And the answer is no, they don't have to take it out. Right? If they are the breadwinner of their own family, but now they are, okay, so if you're asking that they are the breadwinner of their own family, okay? In this case, once again, this is my understanding because this has not been addressed directly in the books. If let's say person A is the breadwinner of a family, person A themselves goes to someone else's house for a few days, right? He will be the dependent of the person he's staying with for a few days. So the fitra of person A will be on the shoulders of the host, but the zakat al-fitra of the people that are at home and that didn't accompany him will be still on person A's shoulders. Now, if the whole family goes and stays with a host, okay, this one, as I said, has not been addressed. This is my understanding. My understanding is that if they are all now dependents of someone else that's hosting them, their zakat al-fitra will be wajib on the host only. So the breadwinner now, person A, has no responsibility anymore. So breadwinners, you know how to do it. Night of Eid, go to somebody's house and spend like 4 days there. All right. Next mas'ala that we want to go to. And this is the part where if you feel like, okay, there's a lot of people coming over, $10 is too much per person. Is there a way for me to pay less? Contact, inshallah, and we'll see. Because as I said, the numbers, they're doing ihtiyat, they're giving a buffer. Yeah. And so that buffer might not necessarily have to, be done, but whatever. All right. If I give charity every month for to support a family, do I need to pay Zakat al Fitra for that family? Oh, so you're trying to ask if they are your dependents. Well, if you're paying charity to some family, that's not enough. But if you're taking care of a family in such a way that they are considered your dependents now, then I would say yes, it does apply. That's a very good question. That is a wonderful question, by the way. Let me write that one down too. These are all things that I want to put in my notes for future use as well. Every year that we cover these ahkam, I don't want to give you too much time writing notes because then you're going to come up with more questions. All right. Okay, so if the guest falls in the category of faqir and the host takes the zakat and now wants to pay that guest who is the faqir, yeah, I would say that's fine. I would say that's fine. Once again, these are things that are not addressed in the books. So I have to do as much ijtihad as I can based on the books and what the books say. Yeah. The only time you can't pay, this is where my ijtihad is coming from. Ijtihad not in the hadiths, but in the Islamic law books. So it's not real ijtihad, okay? I don't want anyone saying, oh, he called himself a mujtahid or something. If the only time you can't pay zakat al fitra to somebody if that person is faqir, but they are your own dependent. So for example, you not dependent. They are one of your they're one of your wajibun nafaqas. Excuse me. They're one of those people that is wajib for you to take care of. So for example, if your mother and father are dependent on you now because they don't have what it takes to work anymore, right? They're your dependents now, but they're also your wajibun nafaqa. You won't be able to give it to them, but you can give it to a faqir who is now your dependent because they are your dependent, but they're not your wajibun nafaqa, they call it. I know it's getting a little too technical here, but let's move on. Okay. What types of food can I consider when calculating my Zakat al Fitra? Zakat al Fitra, okay, so this is the part we already kind of covered. If it's wheat, barley, dates, raisins, or anything other than that, like rice and corn, if those are also used as a staple food in where you live, 3 kilograms of it. I think we've already, that's pretty clear. Let's move on. Am I supposed to pay my Zakat al Fitra to my marja or directly to the needy? Yeah, this is something that some people don't know actually. When you look in the books of the Maraja, you will find this interestingly, that that you can actually, Mas'ala 2683, he says here, that you can send your fitra to the imam. Well, the imam, we don't have access to him, of course. Or the na'ib khas of the imam, which we only have 4 right now. We had 4 in the past, the ghaybat al-sughra. Or the na'ib am, or the general na'ib and representative, which is hakim al-shar' they call it, or like right now, maraja. Then it's fine, you can do that, even if you're going to send it outside of the city that you're in. So this question is a good question here. Can I send my Zakat al Fitra to my marja? Answer according to this, yes you can. Yes, you can send it to your marja. You have the option to give your Zakat al Fitra to your marja, as well as to hand it directly to a needy person who fulfills the qualifications mentioned below. Hand it doesn't mean necessarily hand it, you know what I mean, submit it somehow to them. All right. Now moving on to another question that deserves a drum roll. The next drum roll ruling that we're going to cover is, can I pay Zakat al Fitra to the poor who do not live in the same city as me? Yes, so let's talk about this. It says, based on obligatory precaution. Both Maraja have this. Ayatollah Sistani in his book says it. Ayatollah Khamenei doesn't say it, but he says the other side of it. He says, you can take it out if you can't find a faqir in your city. Okay? He says you can take it out. But he doesn't say if you don't, still can you or not. He doesn't cover that part of it. Imam Khomeini has covered that, and he has an ihtiyat wajib just like al-Sistani. What is it? Based on obligatory precaution, you must pay Zakat al Fitra to the needy that live in your city. And as I said, we have to get to the conditions of those needy, okay? So hang in there and bear with me. Unless there are none that are qualified in your city, or you prefer to pay your zakat to your marja. All right, so that's another one. All right, so brother is asking, so Moment Center is authorized to accept fitra, correct? There is no authorization here, brother. Authorization is for khums. For zakat, as I said, you have to give it yourself or give it to someone you know will give it. As I said, I know that Moment Center has been collecting zakat for years now, and they are very, careful to spend it the way it's supposed to be spent. Personally, I trust for example, our respected treasurer right now. As I said, he splits hairs. Yes, he'll split the hair and sometimes split the head too to make sure that this person is deserving and qualified. So personally, I feel like it's fine. So there's no. I'm just saying that term authorized is not used here. It's only used for khums when it comes to having special permission from maraja. Here, there's no permission that comes from maraja. It's just the fact of you and your conviction. You know that this person will get it to the person that it's supposed to get to, so you can do that. All right. Brother Wasi says, can I take out Zakat al Fitra on behalf of someone else? Can you explain what you mean? Because I don't know exactly what you mean by that. All right. Moving on now to, can I calculate? So that's regarding another city. Yes, we do have this as well, by the way. Our Maraja have said, if you don't find someone that's qualified, if you don't find well, actually let's leave that, we'll talk about it later. All right, I can't think of anything else regarding this mas'ala that I covered right now. Can I pay Zakat al Fitra to the poor who do not live in the same city as me? Oh, there is one more thing. And that is, if you have money somewhere else, okay? If you have money somewhere else, then you can have others, for example, take that out for you and give it to faqir, even if it's in another city. So listen carefully here, brothers and sisters. Listen carefully here. That if you take out Zakat al Fitra here, where you are in your city, that money cannot, based on obligatory precaution, cannot be taken anywhere else. Yes, to another city or another country or so on. And of course, this is a big misconception people have. Right away, they send it to their country, for example, which is might not be bad all in all, but for Zakat al Fitra, you have to find a marja who allows it, because as I said, Ayatul Sistani, Ayatul Khamni, they have an obligatory precaution here. Right? So you have to find another marja who allows it. I haven't been able to find one yet. There might be one out there. I haven't checked all of them yet, but the ones I did check, that's what I found. And so it's going to be hard to figure that one out, to be able to justify sending it out. So if you take it out in your city, then you have to keep it in that city based on this fatwa, based on this obligatory precaution. But there is an exception to this rule, but it's not really technically an exception, but this is also an explanation and an option, I would say. If someone has money in their bank account somewhere in Pakistan, for example, yes, they can have money from there be taken out for their Zakat al Fitra and given to the needy there. That is okay. And that has been explicitly mentioned in the books. So there is that exception. Sometimes people complain, they say we can't find faqir where we are. Mashallah, everyone's doing good. Well, now that COVID hit, we found out it's not the case. And that everything is really hanging by a thread. But all in all, if you can't find faqir, or even if you can find faqir, but you feel like there's some people out there that need it more, if you have money somewhere else, they say you can take it out, okay? All right, let me see what questions we have now. So how can we pay our zakat since there is no masjid this year? No, Abu Farid, they have Moment admin. If you can reshare that link that you put in the beginning, they have a link to be able to pay it online apparently. It is narrated when the Imam is able to establish his government that there won't be people who are struggling, assuming that is valid. What role will fitra play? Well, we'll ask the Imam when he comes, okay? I don't know the answer to that. If I take out Zakat al Fitra on behalf of my father, does it mean it's not wajib on him anymore? Oh, no. If the father is the breadwinner and the son wants to take it out on his behalf, that's not how it works, as I said. He has to take it out on his behalf. This is a form of ibadah that happens, has its conditions that have to be met. The condition is that someone else can't take it out. You have to take it out for yourself. If someone else does the taklif, it's like saying, for example, it's like saying, my brother didn't pray, so can I pray for him? No, that's his taklif, right? Even if it wasn't on purpose, he forgot, for example, still, I can't do it for him. That's one of those taklifs. Once again, this is based on the text that we have that we're reading off of. All right. It says Zakat al Fitra, can it be given to a faqir that's non-Muslim? We'll get to the conditions, but no, that's not, you can't. Okay, inshallah, brother. He says, may Allah give you sabr. All right, let's move on to the next one now. Now, if someone wants to take out Zakat al Fitra from money they have in another country, should they pay the Zakat al Fitra based on the prices here or the prices there? Yes. Where would this happen? Which one counts? Which one is it? The Maraja in their books have said Baladul Ikhraj is what counts. It's the criterion. Okay, that means the city in which this zakat is taken out. So if you have money in Karachi, and we know you all do. If you have money in Karachi or wherever you are from, once again, I'm just kidding around a little bit. If you take out that money, if you're taking out the money from the money in Karachi, then the price, the amount for 3 kilograms of rice or wheat will be the price there, not the price here. Okay? If you want to add to it, that's a different story, but that's the wajib amount. So keep that in mind also, brothers and sisters. All right, so we get to what I've been talking about that we'll get to, and that is who is qualified to receive Zakat al Fitra money. I'm going to read Ayatollah Sistani's and Ayatollah Khamenei's separately. There's a lot of overlap, but there might be one or two maybe minute differences as well. All right, so it says here, according to Ayatollah Sistani, Zakat al Fitra should not be paid to a person you know will use it for haram purposes. Number 1. Number 2, the recipient cannot be someone you are Islamically responsible for providing for anyway. Remember I said wajibun nafaqa? For example, your wife. If your wife is considered a faqir, well, she's your wajibun nafaqa anyway. You can't take out Zakat al Fitra for yourself, but then give it to her as Zakat al Fitra. It goes to somebody else that is not your wajibun nafaqa. Is not a person that you have to take care of anyway. All right. Number 3, if you are not Sayyid, your Zakat al Fitra cannot be received by a Sayyid. Look at the wording. If you are not Sayyid, your Zakat al Fitra cannot be received by a Sayyid. But the flip side is okay. That if you are Sayyid and you're giving Zakat al Fitra, non-Sayyid can take from you. All right, so it's a one-way street here that is a problem, and that is if you are not Sayyid and you're giving zakat, you can't give it to a Sayyid. So a non-Sayyid to Sayyid is a problem. Sayyid to non-Sayyid is not a problem. Okay? Number 4, if the one receiving must be Shia. However, if there are no qualified Shia available where you are, you may pay it to non-Shia Muslims who do not express hate for the Ahlul Bayt. They're not Nasibi. And usually in this day and age, you won't find too many Nasibis. I wouldn't worry about that too much. So that's where you can give it to a non-Shia, but non-Muslim, it doesn't say that you can. So that is, remember we had a question on that. And finally, the one receiving should be faqir. So what is the definition of faqir? Or miskeen, it says. In Islamic legal terms, faqir refers to a person who does not have the means to cover life expenses for the next 12 months. While miskeen refers to the one who doesn't even have enough to cover daily expenses. So either a person has to have enough money to cover the next 12 months of the year for themselves, or doesn't have the means to cover themselves for the next 12 months. Sometimes you have enough money in the bank, you're unemployed, okay? And you won't be able to have enough to cover your expenses by employment, but you will have enough money in the bank to cover the next 12 months. You're good. You're not faqir anymore. Sometimes you have zero in the bank, yeah? And you don't have any assets or anything either, but what you do have is a job that is covering, you're living paycheck to paycheck, let's say, right? Still, this also makes you not be a faqir. So a person who doesn't have the means to cover the expenses for the next 12 months, or doesn't have the actual money to cover the expenses, is a faqir, and miskeen is someone that is in much worse shape than that person. So that is the criteria. So if you pay attention to this, you'll see faqir from an Islamic legal perspective actually is broader in scope than what we feel poor, that what the term we use for poor people. We say this person's poor. That person might not. Usually, the person that we call poor in our normal everyday jargon is what? Is a person who can't even take care of themselves every day almost, let alone, and has to ask for help every day. But Islamically, it's more than that. It's a person who can't take care of themselves for the next year even. So you see, that's pretty broad Islamically. And when it gets that broad, it might be easier to find faqirs, okay? Yes, Brother Jerry, good question. He says, it's a good question because I know the answer, okay? Brother Jerry says, if there is someone deserving but they don't want to accept any charity or zakat, can you give them the fitra in some other form for the same amount? This is something the Maraji have addressed, and they say, yes, you can give it to them in the form of a gift or something even. So yeah, you can do that as well. I'm just writing something down real quick, sorry. All right, let's move on. So those were the conditions for Ayatollah Sistani on the person who's going to be receiving the zakat. But what about Ayatollah Khamenei? He says Zakat al Fitra, according to obligatory precaution, should not be paid to a person who consumes intoxicants or commits other major sins openly. He says that. Number 2, so other major sins openly, but this is ihtiyat wajib, so it's not a fatwa here. Number 2, the one receiving cannot be someone that you're responsible for providing for. Once again, they can't be wajib al-nafaqa. So that's the same as Ayatollah Sistani. If you are not Sayyid, your Zakat al Fitra cannot be received by Sayyid. Same thing. The one receiving must be Shia. However, if there are no qualified Shia in need, you may pay it to non-Shia mustad'af Muslims, it says. This is, of course, based on what Imam Khomeini says in Tahrir, because Ayatollah Khamenei has not addressed this in his book directly. And so when I contacted the ones that I know in the office of the fiqh questions of our marja, they said, they didn't answer me. And so I'm just basing this on Tahrir, what Imam Khomeini says. that it's to be given to non-Shia mustad'af Muslims. Not mustad'af means the ones who don't know any better. You know, it's not their fault that they don't know Shi'ism is the right path. You know, they don't have any animosity or anything. They don't know the truth. They just, you know, they're just not Shia. And finally, he should not have the ability to cover life expenses for the next 12 months. So there was an overlap in 4 out of 5 of these conditions. It was just the first one that there was a little bit of a difference between them. All right. Let me look here at the questions now. Questions we have. What do we have here? Sorry, my computer is acting weird. Paycheck to paycheck wouldn't have enough to cover for the next 12 months. No, as I said, paycheck to paycheck doesn't have enough to cover 12 months through their bank account, but they have the means. They have the means to cover themselves, so they're not faqir. Let's not get this wrong now, okay? Sometimes I try to explain again and again, but I still fear that, you know, there might be some misunderstanding, right? Once again, either you have the money in your bank account, for example, to cover the next 12 months, or you have a job. Although it's paycheck to paycheck, but you have a job that will cover you for the next 12 months. That counts too, that you're still not a faqir. Please, if that's not clear, let me know again so I explain again, because this is important. She says the Zakat al Fitra would have been implemented by Bernie. Well, if someone is faqir, can you only give him one person's fitra, or can you give them multiple portions of fitra? Good question. Good question, because once again, I know the answer. If I don't know the answer, it's not a good question, okay? Yes, you can. You can give a person more than 1 3-kilogram amount. Yes. They've covered this as well. What the maximum is, I don't remember. I think it was something in the neighborhood of, let me pull it up real quick here. Psalm. I'm just trying to find it so I can read off of it just to make sure. Yeah, so it says, no, I don't know where I can find it. It was somewhere. Yeah, if you give, I can't find the maximum number right now. I can't find the maximum. Yeah, there was a maximum. I don't know if it was an ihtiyat or it was a fatwa or something, but from what I remember is it was like you can give them up to a year's worth or something. If I'm not mistaken though, I'm not sure about this one, but no one's going to give that much anyway. So I'm pretty sure no one's going to go over the maximum. So, but yeah, you can give them a generous amount. It's not like you have to give them only 1 3-kilogram unit, or you can't give them more than 1 or something like that. No, it's not like that. You can give them more if you need to. For example, you can give them 30 kilograms instead of 3. Like that's like the Zakat al Fitra for not 1 person, but for 10 people. Yeah, you can do that. All right, let's move on now. Well, let me just check and see if there's any questions left. Okay, so Brother Hussein here is asking, I think you covered this, so apologies, but when you give money to someone that equals, for example, 3 kilograms of rice, they have to buy rice with it, correct? This is important. If you're giving the money to someone to buy the food and give the food to a faqir on your behalf, then yes, you have to make sure they do it right. But if you've done the calculation yourself, and you are giving the money now to somebody who is faqir, or you're giving somebody the money to give it to a faqir for you, in this case, no, they don't have to buy food with it. Zakat al Fitra, unlike Fidya, Zakat al Fitra, the money that you give to the poor person, either yourself directly or through somebody else, giving it to them, they don't have to use it on food necessarily. We don't have that condition anywhere, at least as far as I've seen. I'm pretty sure about this, actually. That money is theirs. They can use it for whatever they need to. In fidya, it's a different story. And in kafara, it's a different story. But here, with Zakat al Fitra, no, they don't have to necessarily buy. But yeah, if you want to give 3 kilograms to somebody, so you give them money to go buy food with it, yeah, then for that part, you have to be sure. Like, for example, person A wants to give Zakat al Fitra to a poor person. They give it to person B, they give him money, they say, go buy me 3 kilograms of rice. That person has to go buy 3 kilograms of rice and give it to that poor person, right? So that's the only place this will come in. But this usually is not a problem. Yeah, so Brother Daniel is asking the same question. That was the answer. The one who is the recipient of Fitra doesn't have to buy food with it necessarily. They have not made that stipulation anywhere that I've looked, anywhere. Yeah, so Brother Wasi is saying the same thing I did. For the maximum, he says, I think it was not to exceed a year's maximum for that individual, the 12 months that we said. Okay, good. Let's move on to the last 2 or 3 slides that I have. When do I have to pay Zakat al Fitra? I already covered that. Putting it aside. This is also something else that we have to understand. The money has to be set aside. Okay? Does it have to necessarily come into the hands of the fakir by Eid namaz tomorrow? Tomorrow, of course, Eid is not tomorrow. I'm just saying, theoretically speaking here. Yeah, no one go break their fast tomorrow, say tomorrow's Eid or something. All right, so do I have to make sure it reaches the fakir by Eid or Eid's namaz or Dhuhr namaz of Eid? No, it has to be taken out and separated from your wealth, right, by that time. Now, when it reaches that needy person, whenever they find the needy person, they give it, okay? And once you take it out and separate it, you cannot use that money anymore. That money is separated now, okay? But there's a big mistake some people make here, a big misunderstanding. They think that since this is the case with Zakat al Fitra, even my mustahab sadaqas, that I sometimes, we have a jar, we put money in, for example, even my mustahab sadaqah, once I put it in there, I can't move it around. I want to break my 50. I have a $50 bill, and there's $51 bills in there. I'm like, man, that's so awesome. I need this change, but that's sadaqah money. Nowhere have I seen that they say, no, this cannot be touched either. Usually I think people compare this to that, and that's why they say, oh, you can't do that. You can't touch those mustahab sadaqahs either. But no, you can. It's only with the wajib sadaqah, the wajib sadaqah that which is Zakat al Fitra, that you can't touch it after you've separated it. Yeah, so Brother Jari, your question, I just kind of answered it. Well, I didn't answer it. I didn't answer it, but this is the right place to ask it. That is there a time limit that it must be given to a faqir? X number of days. Nowhere have they specified X number of days, right? So my guess is that, and this is a question to send in, right? It's not been addressed in the books, I'll tell you that. So maybe in the Q&A section of these Maraj's website, they might have addressed it. I'll take a look if I can find it. I haven't seen anything. I don't remember seeing anything. Something way back in my mind says that I have seen something in the past, but I'm not 100% sure what it was that might be relevant to what you're asking right now. But nowhere in the books have they said that it's a condition to get it to somebody in X number of days, 5 days, 7 days. No number has been determined there. So, all right. And finally, our last mas'ala for tonight. Do the needy have to buy food with the money, or can it be used for any of their expenses? That's something that you guys asked that we covered as well. So we're good, inshallah. That covers everything that I had here. Okay, and if you have any other questions, just put them in the chat box as I continue. I just want to add a few things. 2 matters I want to talk about very quickly before I end. Number 1 is tomorrow is the last Friday of Ramadan, and it is known for the day of Quds. The day of Quds, as I've said every year, represents a day of standing against and voicing yourself against tyranny across the globe. It's not just one place, but Quds and Palestine and Palestine represents right now as a symbol of an oppression that is started a long time ago and is continuing till today over dunyavi matters of global dhulm and so on. And so I know this year that they're doing more of a virtual protest. I did hear that Molana is going to be going out as well. But I just want, especially the younger ones who are listening, I want to make this clear that, guys, we cannot be uneducated about what's happening around us. We don't want, time to pass and it reaches a point where people don't even remember a place called Palestine. Yes, there won't be too many numbers out there sometimes, but we always need people who are going to carry this flag. Yes, this is something all Maraja have made clear, that yes, we do not recognize what's going on in that part of the world. We don't recognize it as something valid, as something justified. Sometimes when you are talking to certain youth or talking to certain people, you feel like they're not aware of certain things. We don't want it to reach that point. And so tomorrow, I know there's stuff going on. And so if they can take part, I know people are having social media campaigns, for example, if they can do that. Now, the thing is, social media campaigns shouldn't be limited to one day of the year either. Like, it's too easy. You can continue to do what you're doing throughout the year. I wish these campaigns would continue. These hashtags would go on throughout the year as well. There are some who do that, but it's gonna of course culminate in this time of the year, definitely. And so may Allah bless the brothers and sisters who are doing that. Also, another point that I wanted to talk about before I end, I know I'm over my time. What time is it? Yeah, I'm over my time. One more thing I wanted to talk about is that this sister that was shot in the UK, I think her name was Aya Hashim. Her name was Aya Hashim. And so there was a lot happening in these past few days. You all know about the fundraiser that started and then it was taken back, and all the rhetoric from both sides of Shi'i and Sunni that happened. Yes, which was sad for both sides, I will say, but more sad, of course, for those who were accusing the Shia of certain things. Now, this shows one thing. As a Shia now, am I going to sit back passively and watch this and be upset? How dare you guys call us these things and so on? And then I'm going to retaliate accordingly. This is exactly not what the Ahlul Bayt teach us. Yes? One of our Imams, I think it was Imam Hussein, actually, from what I remember, that, and if it wasn't him, it was Imam Hassan, that the guy comes into the city and starts cursing out the Imam. What does the Imam do? Does he retaliate accordingly, like in the similar fashion? No, the Imam says, hey, I feel like you're new to this city, you're a stranger, you might need some help, you need some water, you need some food, let me take you in, and takes care of him. Before you know it, the guy's in love with the Imam, because the Imam knew how to deal with him. If they're calling the Shia certain things, well, it shows that the Shia also have a bigger responsibility. The younger ones out there who want to go out there now and introduce themselves to the world and to these people who think that the Shia are problematic people, their job is actually now hard, because first they got to go learn their own religion properly and practice it properly and not give a bad name, and then they can reach out to people and also explain to them what Shi'ism is all about. Yeah, there will be people that want to go out and do something about this, but what if you are confronted with 2 or 3 questions that you can't answer? Then it's going to make us look even worse. You get what I'm saying? So we get very upset at what has happened. And both Shi'i and Sunni scholars have condemned what happened. This is important. When it comes to the scholars, you'll find the scholars, they're getting along to an extent. It's not like they're calling each other out. It's the normal people that are now calling each other out, making a big deal out of it. All right? It's a mistake. Yes, they should not have called the Shi'i school of thought certain things. I don't want to even say, because that's how disgusting it was. But at the end of the day, when you look at the scholars, they are calling out the crime that was committed. They're not trying to make too much sectarianism happen between us now, and they understand that we have to be careful in these times. We have common enemies. Islam has common enemies, right? And so those are things to address. So with that, I will leave you. Inshallah, we will probably meet up again on Eid Day. And let me just take one more look at the questions we have here. For Eid Day, I think there will be some things going on. Just look out for that. You'll be informed, inshallah. And all right. There will be no. So for Eid Day, I'll just say this: the Eid Salat, each person can pray it on their own at home if they're not in the center. Yes, and if they want to follow a person who might be doing it live from the center, it's not going to be jama'ah. It'll just be it'll just be them reading along with the imam so that they get the wording of the dua right. That's what they'll be doing. Or else I have to make it clear now, and I'm probably pretty sure that all of you already know this. We don't have jama'ah from the TV, okay? Jama'ah is in person, and there has to be a proximity. Certain conditions have to be met. In the Sunni school, there's a lot more flexibility when it comes to the conditions of jama'ah, but in the Shia school, there are a lot of conditions. And so, yeah. And so if there is something happening and there is an Eid namaz that is being broadcast from any center, if you're not following in jama'ah, you're just following along with the dua, or else you have an intention of furada, praying on your own, okay? Yes, and yeah, that's the email also that Brother Akbar shared. And I think that should do it, inshallah. So I thank all of you once again. Keep us all in your du'as, and keep those 2 points that I mentioned in the end also as well in mind. Those are very important points. I don't have time to elaborate more. And I know that Mulana Beg also has elaborated on them as well, inshallah. With that, I leave you. Iltimas dua. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Sheikh. This concludes our program for tonight. Good night, everyone.